Do we really want to spend our tax dollars on something, though, that we need once every 30 years?
No.
I mean, you know. Jeff, what is going on, man?
Not much. How you, Chris?
Doing well, doing well.
Good.
Good to see you as always.
You too. Glad the snow's gone.
Oh my goodness. Yeah, I heard somebody phrase it, Snowvid 24.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
Yeah. And I do a lot of work at this company, and I speak to this lady in Boston a lot, and she said everyone up there was making fun of us. And I said, well, I'm sure, because we have 2 plows to cover the state of Tennessee. But
Yeah.
do we really want to spend our tax dollars on something, though, that we need once every 30 years?
No.
I mean, you know,
Right.
I say we'll just take a few days off from work and suck it up. So, or out of the office anyway, not like you're off from work.
Right.
Yeah, but anyway, Jeff, you were talking earlier. Just think about I'm a new GC getting started. I'm at the table. We're talking business, putting numbers to paper here. Tell me a little bit about my bonding capacity and how what type of negative is that in the grand scheme of things during this meeting?
Well, I mean, it can most definitely, cost you a potential job. It's good to always do as quick a run through on a job you're getting ready to put numbers to see what you think, it's going to be as an end number. Mm-hmm. Because, you have to work with your insurance company and most people have some type of monetary limit on their bonding capacity. Mm-hmm. So if you know that this job could potentially run over what your capacity is, then you're wasting your time for the most part.
Because I have to show proof that my insurance is going to cover the amount of the job that I've bid on.
Right.
Okay.
And it gets to a point where if you have enough subs, you could require your subs to cover their portion of the bonding. As long as the GC or the owner that you're bidding to is fine with that.
It's fine with that.
They may want an umbrella coverage.
Okay.
And if they do, then
Top down, basically.
top down.
Yeah.
I mean, the contractor I'm working with, if I'm subbing under, he may still require me to cover my portion of the bid, but the owner that you're bidding to, he may require this contractor to have an umbrella that covers all of his tiers, all of his subs.
Okay.
So at that point, he still has to have the bonding capacity to do the monetary amount that he's given to them.
Okay. So then from the GC perspective, or whoever you're bidding this job to, from their perspective, and they feel more comfortable with that, you called it the umbrella coverage, what is the advantage to them for that? Is that just because if something were to go
If something
wrong?
happens or you default somewhere in your contract, then your insurance company has to come in and pay. Like, say they got to go out and hire another contractor to come in and finish your scope of work. So your insurance company has to be liable to pay that portion that's left owing on that particular job.
Okay. And so the advantage then would be if I had a person doing this portion of the job, they had their bonding, this person was doing this portion of the job, they had their bonding. So then if something goes wrong, I'm still having to look for 2 new contractors to come in,
Yes.
or basically I'm dealing with the issue twice because I didn't have blanket coverage
Yes.
for the entire
And
job.
you can, there's other options before you call a bond. You can actually, go to litigation, but there again, most projects have a time limit on them, and
They could take months.
it could take months, a year, more. So that's an option, but it may not be a feasible option. But it's tough a lot of times. It still has some holdback. When you call a bond and require the insurance to pay on it, there's still some legalities that have to go along with that,
Right.
to put it into action.
Okay.
But you just don't want to get yourself in that position if it comes down to it. One thing is it's going to put a big black eye on you, and another thing is your insurance company is going to drop you, and it's going to be hard to find an insurance company to pick you up. And the other thing is like if the monetary value is enough, it could close your doors. It could put you out of business.
Okay. Well, gosh. Okay. Well, that's good stuff, Jeff. I tell you what.
Well, and just like in the state of Tennessee, on your contractor's license, you have a monetary limit. Some of us have, unlimited license, but a lot of contractors are limited to X amount of dollars on their state contractor license they can bid. And, just say it's, $5 million is your limit. Well, that's $5 million per job. It doesn't mean it's $5 million for the year. That's $5 million per job.
Mm-hmm.
And they will allow you, because when you're putting numbers together and stuff, you get into change orders and other stuff, that drive your number up. They will allow you to go over that by 10%.
Okay.
But on your bonding, whatever number you give them, that's what they hold you to. And as you get change orders and stuff in, you have a percentage that goes to the bonding company.
Mm-hmm.
Usually around 1%, a little less, depending on how your relationship is with your insurance company.
Okay.
And so for every dollar that's added on to it, you've got to pay your insurance company a fee, because they've got to bond that portion as well.
Okay.
So if you start off with a job, say it's $10 million, and that's what you're bonding, then say you get $1.5 million in change orders, well, you still got to pay that fee to your bonding company, because they have to bond those change orders as well.
Mm-hmm. All right, where do they draw the line? I mean, does that sort of depend on your history with them?
If you are maxed out on your bonding capability to get this job or a particular job, then if you have a number of change orders that come in, then it's a pretty good chance they're not going to bond those.
Wow. Okay, so well, you're at the table, we were having this meeting, we're looking at these numbers. I assume the person you're bidding to is probably already thinking about this, right? If they're like, okay, well, we're talking about a $4.5 million job here, and you have $5 million worth of bonding. Well, it didn't take many change orders to really bust that budget. I mean, is that something that they are considering at that time? And if not, what are you thinking as the contractor who's putting in the bid, and you're looking at these numbers? I mean, are you just...
Well, I mean, most of the time, you want to try to stay within a 20% margin of your max capability.
Okay, so that's a rule of thumb then, kind of going in.
Yes.
Okay.
And so, if I'm getting, if I get within, say I'm working for a company and I'm bidding work, if I get within 10% of my bid bond capacity, I may go ahead and push it on through. But if I get 12, 13, 15%, I'm definitely going to continue on with it.
Got it.
If I get to where I'm 8, 9%, then, I'm probably going to back out. And because most of this stuff, a lot of times, even though they're pretty sure on the scope of work, a lot of these bigger projects, they push through fast, and there's stuff that gets missed, and there's going to be some stuff that's added on to it, and you just don't want to put yourself in a position to where you get to where, you're doing a project and like, hey, I can no longer bond this project. It's going over my monetary limit.
Yeah. Okay. What happens then as a contractor? What if you somehow found yourself in that situation? I mean, are you able to just...
If you've got a good rapport with your insurance company, they're going to go ahead and cover you for the most part.
Okay.
But, if you're fairly new and you only bonded a couple of jobs, then, they're not going to be as apt to work with you
Sure.
like you would if you've been a customer for 10 or 15 years.
Okay. Yeah. Well, what are the ramifications for the contractor then? I mean, I know that it's obviously, I mean, I guess it's probably a fairly slim chance you would find yourself in that position.
Yes.
But what does that look like? What would happen? Are you at that point, you're just going to send a bill for, payment due for services rendered up to a certain point, or are you on the hook for that?
Well,
if you haven't collected?
Most time, I mean, if it's something that you can stand behind on your own, then you keep your bonding in place for the job, and say it's another couple $100,000, then you just guarantee that yourself,
You just hope that everything goes right from there on. Okay.
Because you're on the hook anyway. If the project goes south, then it's going to be a legal battle.
All right. I was afraid you were going to say that, Jeff.
Yeah, it's hard for me to really answer that question because luckily I've never been in that situation.
Yeah. No, I mean, hypothetically speaking, we were just curious.
Hope I never am, but
no joke. Well, all right, Jeff, good stuff, man. We're going to leave it there.
All right, man.
I'll be seeing you here in just a little bit.
Yes,
so, fellas, thanks for joining us. Gals, check us out, ProfitDig.com. Low cost construction bidding and costing solution. Hope to see you there. Oh, hey, like the video, subscribe to the channel. I always leave that part out. So we'll see you soon.